Welcome back to Kicking It Real. It is me, Gabby, solo episode. It has been a minute since it's just been us, and I have so much to update you on and just what life has been like in the past, couple months with holidays in full swing, with the new year on the horizon. I just wanted to get into things that I have been feeling with this new transition and phase in life, things about the Rocket season that I missed, the overall transition, just bringing you along for the journey. I feel like it's a topic that I can talk about forever because there's so many different facets or aspects of a big transition in your life. Definitely kind of ebbs and flows, but gonna get into that in a little bit. So just to get right into things, what I'm kicking it with lately, definitely early dinners for me. It has been so nice, especially in the winter, because winters are just not my favorite season. I am for sure a summer girl. And when I was dancing, I was in the night cast. So Garrett and I had dinner together, really having dinner, sitting down literally once a week because it was only on my day off because I was just dancing late. And I think it being that time of year, right, it makes it feel so much better just knowing that it's dark so early and I get to just nuzzle up and have that time. Yesterday I even took a shower at 5 o'clock just because I was like, you know what, I need a little reset and I don't have to leave the house and I can just be cozy. So I've been really enjoying slowing down and getting to do all of that. What I'm kicking to the curb is, this one's random, but my hair wash day, pushing it out so long because I used to be back in the day, high school time, every day hair washer. And then you learn, you hear all the things that it's not good for you, whatever. And so for a while, it's nice to not have to wash it every day. It's a lot less effort. It's obviously better for your hair. And when I was dancing all the time, it was nice because my hair was up and it would just slick it back and it was no big deal. But now, I don't want to wear my hair back all the time. One, because what's the point of having your hair done? But also, two, I know it's not as quote unquote good for your hair to be up. So I like having it down, but then sometimes I'll try to push it out so far, or I'm planning my life around when I'm washing my hair. But a lot of the time I've found that sometimes it just feels better to have clean hair. You don't need to have a reason. You don't have to push it out. And I'd be like, oh, I didn't have enough time in between my hair wash. But literally, who cares? It's not that deep. My theme of the last few episodes is not that deep. So I'm kicking that to the curb. If I want to wash my hair, I'm going to wash it. If I don't want to wash my hair, I'm not going to wash it. Although you really won't ever catch me washing it every day. But I can go, usually in any season, I can go 2 days solid hair. And then it just depends if it's, really hot or I was sweating or whatever the case is. There's a lot of product in it and whatever. So along those lines, that's what I'm kicking to the curb. But along those lines, just some life things, what have been happening. If you've been following me for some time this year specifically, just wanted to give a little skin update. If you're not watching the YouTube video, I mean, I'm wearing makeup right now. But underneath all the makeup, it's just not the best. But backstory, if you haven't been following, I have had acne forever, pretty much forever. And in high school, I had it bad, on my chest and back even, and, was going to the dermatologist, doing all the things, tried every medication essentially. And I mean, I can't go back in time. Maybe I'll have to ask my mom, even though she can't even probably completely vouch for me either. But I feel like I maybe wasn't the most consistent with using the dermatologist products growing up. Maybe I don't know if it was it would get better and I would stop, or it wasn't working fast enough, so I stopped. But things kind of worked in and out. And then when I was an adult, I think right before I moved to New York, yeah, it was the first time I went on Accutane because I was like, whatever. Both my parents were on Accutane and I was like, enough is enough. I'm an adult. I cannot be doing this anymore. So I did it. And it was not great, but it wasn't, I don't think I had it as bad as a lot of people and a lot of the stories that you hear. My joints definitely felt it a lot. But other than that, I wasn't even too dry. I think I was at least at that point, more oily anyway. And it worked for a while. And then my timeline gets so blurry. But then my acne came back. And I think it was right after my first season. Yeah, it was right after my first season. It came back and we were getting married in less than a year. Yeah, in less than a year at that point. So I was like, I'm not messing around. let's go back on Accutane. I got rid of it the first time, and maybe my dermatologist, whoever I was seeing at the time, was like, yeah, sometimes people have to go back on it. Whatever. Cool. Go on it. Clear out my skin. Skin was beautiful for the wedding. Great. Awesome. See, I'm blanking on the timeline again. I think it was, because that was after season 2 then. So going into season 3, I think it got a little rocky again. It got a little better in New York, so I was convinced it was the water quality here, because New York obviously has really good water, and my skin did get a little bit better then, but it still, like, was not good. Like, I it's hard to go from when after the Accutane, like, the first 2 times right after it was beautiful, it was clear, and that's, like, my dream still to this day, is to just be able to go makeup free confidently, and I know that's, like, an internal thing, a little superficial, little vain, but just being able to go and not, like, feel that I have things all over my face. I mean, if you have acne or have suffered from it, you, like, get that it sometimes can be really debilitating, and I also, through all this and right now, like, was getting the cystic pimples that, like, really hurt and don't look good, but they, like, don't feel good either, so there's just that, like, double whammy coming at you. But I came back, we got a water softener for our house because I was convinced that it was the water. I started to see an esthetician, and I would get monthly facials because I kind of, at this point, was just like, one day would love to be able to do all, like, the cool facials and, like, think a little bit more like longevity and, like, long term now for my skin anyways. And I was like, I'm tired of, I don't want to go back. I'm not going back on Accutane. Like, I don't want to go onto medication. Like, I want to just, take care of it and attack it head on. And it worked for a while. And it was almost like it was working until it wasn't working anymore. Like, some of it definitely cleared up. And then I want to say around June, it kind of felt like it was just staying the same. Like, not necessarily at first getting worse or better, just, like, not really improving. So I kept giving it a few months, was traveling a lot. And my esthetician at the time was like, let's try chemical peels. And I was like, cool, awesome. Like, I'm desperate at this point. And I did one. You're supposed to, or according to her, you're supposed to do 3, one each month. And I did my first one, and it was like, my skin was awesome. Texture wise, like, if you have been thinking about doing a chemical peel, highly recommend. I didn't peel as bad as I thought I would, and I'm such a picker. Like, I would pick all my blisters even, but something about it being on my face, I was able to, like, not peel it off, but it was really, really great. And then it was just, like, the in-betweens though. So I would get a facial, it would clear up, and then, like, the weeks in between, it just, like, came back full force. And then at this point, it's, like, been getting worse and not better. So I kind of was like, okay, it's time to go back on whatever it is. So I went to the dermatologist. She kind of, like, it was interesting. I don't know if anyone's ever had this before, because she kind of was, like, asking me, granted, I'm 28 years old, so, like, and have dealt with acne my whole life. So I'm sure she was like, well, what works? What doesn't work? Do you want to go back on Accutane? And I was like, absolutely not. But I had said, I think it's, like, some type of internal, like, it must be from the inside out, because no topical solutions are, like, really helping. And I had said I wanted to get a blood workup done and, like, whatever. And then she then asked me if I had any other underlying issues. And I was like, no, that's why I want to get a blood workup. But I digress. It didn't end up happening. I'm back on spironolactone. If anyone knows what that is, it, like, really clears stuff up. And I'm on 2 other topicals. I believe it's clindamycin maybe and tretinoin, something like that. But they're morning, night topical, and then the other one's a pill, because I'm like, I need something in the meantime. My insurance is, like, wonky, but I'm getting on Garrett's in January, so I'm about to be booking a full doctor's visit. We are getting a full physical. We are doing all the things, because also, if you've been following, I have, like, weird gut things, which I'm sure it's all connected. It's all connected. So I'm going to go get that all checked out. But that is, like, where I'm at. And I was so excited, and I was sharing all my products. I think for my skin personally, I probably was also, like, adding too much. It was all non-comedogenic. I can't say that word either, but the non-pore clogging products. And I think alone, they're probably all good. I do feel like I was being recommended to maybe use too many things at once. So, and then at that point, it was, like, too much trial and error. So here we are, back to the derm, going back. See, it's clearing up a little bit. And it's also that awkward time where it's kind of like that purge where you have to, like, let it come out to contain it. But overall, it's only been, like, 2 weeks, and I feel like it's getting a little better. So I'll keep you guys updated on that and the blood work. It's now a medical podcast, I guess. But anyways, what else have we missed? Frankie's birthday. He turned 1. I am so emo, and I need to be better at not, like, getting sad every time I think about that he's getting older. Like, I'm acting like he's on his way out, and he literally just turned 1. Like, I don't know, it's fine. I, like, wanted to throw him a big birthday party. I just did a little, like, cute decorating thing for him. He only has, like, if you wanna call it, like, 3 dog friends. Like, he has his girlfriend, of course, she would be invited, but he doesn't really even have a lot of dog friends, and I'm like, we were so busy at this point, and we were leaving, going out of town the next weekend. I was like, "It's fine, he doesn't need a whole party." I mean, we got him, like, the cake, we got him all the cute treats, but he only wanted his bones that he has every single day. Like, I don't know, these bones have, like, crack in them or something because I've gotten my sister-in-law's future sister-in-law's dog on it. Like, any dog that I give them to, they go crazy. Like, he literally hyperventilates and, like, can't even I'll try to get him to do a trick, and he gets too excited that he literally, like, cannot do it. So they're really good. So I think for Christmas, we're like, "Nah, I'm not doing any cute treats or anything special. He's just gonna maybe get a stocking full of bones." Like, I don't know, but that was a really cute day. What else? We had a trip to Chicago, and that was really nice because we got to go it was the week after that, so beginning of November-ish, and we got to go and just to, like, visit with my family. It was still pretty quick, but we've had, so many weddings, so many events and bachelorettes and showers and all the things. So I felt like every time we were going home this year, it was like for an event and not just to see my family. So that was really lovely. It was a really pretty time of year. It wasn't freezing yet. Like all the leaves were changing. And I was like, for a second, like, oh my God, I miss this nostalgia. Like, I love the fall. But then I was like, okay, but it's very cold. And now we're in December and it's kind of changing a little bit, the leaves in Texas. Like, it is still mostly green, but I did notice some trees have some different colors, but it's just, it doesn't hit the same, which is fine. And it's like slowly feeling less like home in Chicago, which I don't mean that in a bad way. I actually like mean that in a good way. Like, I think maybe because I'm feeling more at home in my home here in Texas and like meeting people and just making the space my own and kind of settling in and maybe also my parents moving. They just closed on their house. It is literally less than 5 minutes from mine, but they closed on that. So I think maybe like having them here and knowing that that house is going to be gone, like my childhood home that they lived in for 30 years, which also so many emotions because this is why I think I'm attached to items because we've lived in the same house for that long. And I think I'm detaching a little bit where I'm like, I'm just not even thinking about the fact that I'm not going to be able to go there again. Like, that's so sad. There's so many memories, but lots of new memories to be made here. And speaking of new memories, new houses, like that, closing a house, you guys, that was the most stressed I felt in a while because I think I mentioned this before how, like, when we were closing on our house a few years ago, I was in season. So, like, I'm not really a person at that point. So, I didn't do a lot of the nitty-gritty and, like, we weren't, like, on the ground running, and Garrett's just extremely type A to where it was, like, a tight ship that he ran, and also our builder was phenomenal. Like, he was promoted to super high up in the company at this point. He's young and he like that was 2 years ago or something like that, but he was just awesome. So we had like a really, really I think we didn't have a normal experience in a good way. Like I think that there were a lot of factors, but we had such a good experience that we didn't have to experience some of the like not great things about closing, especially on a new build. Yeah, I don't even want to get into that too much, but needless to say, my parents were here for 2 weeks, which is always fun, but I can tell it's like interesting to have 4 people working from home in the same house. Garrett's in his office on calls. I gave my mom my office. I'm like in my room on my bed, which is where I used to do all my homework. I used to never have a desk, never anything. Even in college, I would just sit on my bed and do homework, which is so bizarre for me. But my dad in the kitchen, like it was very interesting. We had my childhood dog of 17 years here with Frankie, and that was also so cute, you guys. Like, Frankie took him in. Like, he would help him. He follows, like, it's weird because it's his uncle. It's Uncle Sully, but Frankie would, like, make sure he was okay. And every morning go, like, he would literally, like, lick him in bed. Like, I think that's probably, like, a loving thing for dogs, but it was very cute, but it was a lot going on. The house was a lot going on, but it's done. We closed. They're moving here. We are trying to like get all the last touches. I mean, not last touches because let's be real, it's gonna take so long to get everything in, but even like Black Friday, we all just sat trying to do all the sales, all the shopping. I, of course, made a spreadsheet of a lot of the things we needed, and it was so funny because I would find things and Garrett would be like, "That's too much. Too much money on that. That's good. That's good." Like, he's the finance guy, so he would, like, know what we could spend and what we shouldn't spend on it. But I, like, have a cap, I think. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't wanna go into stores to shop, of course, that's crazy. At least not that many, like, for that many things. Like, I'll go into Home Goods, I'll go into Target, but not when I have, like, a lot of specific things I need. But then online, I feel on the flip, it's like there's so many options because you can go to different stores, you can, like, browse around in that way. So I like would have a cap. I'm like, I can't do it anymore. So I don't think we got done everything we needed to. That's okay. But we are, we have not even couches yet. I need to do that. But we have kitchen table and chairs and yeah, and a bed and a mattress. And like, really, what more do they need? My mom has her desk and her office chair. So my dad, I don't, maybe kitchen table. We'll figure it out. It's all going to be good, but I'm so happy. I could even tell like my parents just the weight lifted off of them once that closing was done, which it was right in the middle of Thanksgiving of us hosting as well. So I felt bad because I couldn't be as present with all of it as I would have liked to be, but we hosted 16 people on Thanksgiving, which was a blast. But like for reference, our home is not naturally necessarily equipped to have a sit down dinner with 16 people. I think we did a great job and we pulled it off. It was my brother and his fiance flew in, my parents were here, and then some of Garrett's family were also here, which was really fun to be combined. And I feel so grateful that we have like families that like each other and like want to spend holidays together because I know that is not the case for everyone. And especially for us, this was our first year navigating that because we normally are just by ourselves, just hanging out. And by us, by ourselves, I mean Garrett probably sitting in the apartment and me performing, but we never had to coordinate families. So it was really nice to have everyone together. We ended up just getting tables and moving our kitchen table and just combining them. They were in like an H shape, and I made little name tags, which I'm glad I ended up doing that because not that everyone, well, actually, some people were meeting for the first time, but you know, when it's like one person sits in like an awkward spot and then it throws off everything. So I just didn't want any of that to happen. Like if there was like a seat next to me and like my brother were to sit there, but then like Garrett had to sit somewhere else, it would just like shift everything. Or maybe I'm just crazy type in that way. Who knows? But I did some cute little name tags. I made a pumpkin pie, which turned out pretty good, I would say. I mean, it's not like it's hard. And Garrett always says too that baking's not hard. You just have to be able to follow directions in a recipe. But I feel like I have definitely screwed things up in the past. So I did a pie and we did kind of like a potluck style, which worked out really nice. And I feel like it ended up being way less chaotic than I thought it would be, which shout out Melissa and Nana, my mother-in-law, and Nana, but they did a lot of the cooking as well. So we just brought it and it was like pretty seamless. We had 3 dogs because my brother's dog was also here. We had Meatball, aka Maple, and Sully and Frankie, and they did great. They did great. It was all good. It was really, really nice to like spend time with family, but also when you're hosting, especially that many people, like I don't think I looked at my phone till like 8 o'clock at night, except before we ate because everyone was like, please take pictures of all the food. So I took my pictures, we ate, and it was really, really nice. It went by too fast, but good times. We also had a Mexico trip. That's my last like major update, which was really nice. All these events kind of just like coincide with each other timing wise. Not that it matters that much, but we left the day my parents closed, which love you guys, but it was actually quite nice to not have to deal with that stress. Not like them, but just the whole thing. We just went quick. We had free nights Friday to Sunday, and this resort didn't allow dogs, which really sad because Frankie was the best thing ever at the last resort. He was a hit. We took him to Mexico with us in September, and it was like everyone knew him. He did so good, which also he was just young, and we've tried to take him places and travel with him and do all the things like exposure therapy essentially, but we took him a lot of places with us so that he would kind of get used to it. But everyone, like we made so many friends. I mean, relatively, we don't really talk to them, but you know what I mean? Like, your vacation friends where it's like everyone would come talk to us and be like, "Oh my gosh, she's so well behaved." Or at night, we would always go eat dinner. And then he, like, couldn't come to the restaurant, so he would leave him in the room, we would go eat dinner, and then we would go grab him and, like, walk around, have a drink, like, chill outside, whatever, and anytime we walked into any place, I swear, everyone would be like, "Oh my gosh, Frankie, hi," and, like, half the time, I'm like, "We didn't even talk," like, us humans did not even speak, but also, like, he loves the attention, so thank you for giving him attention because I feel bad when he has to sit in the room, but he loved it. Like, there are photos of him, it's on my Instagram down somewhere, but, like, photos of him, like, basking in the sun, like, but it was so good. But anyways, he couldn't come to this one. Full circle. My parents, I was like, "Could you guys just stay for the weekend and watch him?" So they stayed and painted some of the rooms in their house, which look fantastic. They look so good. So they stayed with Frankie, which is so funny because I always see those Instagram, like, joke reels and TikToks of couples when they leave. I don't even know, maybe babies too, but especially dogs and, like, how they can't talk about anything else, which was a little bit us. Not as bad as I thought it would be, but my mom could attest to this. I texted her at least 5 times a day, "How's Frank doing?" Like, I know he's fine, but I really just meant, like, "Could you send me a picture? I miss him." But I, like, "How is Frank?" is way, way easier to say that. So I would just text her a million times and ask for pictures and track him to see if they were at their house or my house. So it's like he really couldn't have been far, but it was nice, I will say, to, like, actually not have responsibility for 3 days. We were only there Friday to Sunday because we had 2 free nights. It was nice to be able to just, like, spend one-on-one time together and just, like, actually detach and, me talk about, like, my goals and dreams for the next year and all those kinds of things. But just having that time, we kind of, like, looked at the weekend, or we looked at it as a weekend, right? Instead of a vacation. Obviously, it was a vacation, but we're so bad at, like, getting so sad the last day of vacation and, like, not wanting to leave, especially when it's, like, a little bit short. I think our sweet spot is, like, 5 days, 4 nights. Like, that is, like, ideal where I can actually detach and, like, really truly get into, like, relax mode. And then also by that point, I feel like, okay, like, I've gotten enough. I'm ready to get back into routine. So 5 days is, like, my personal all-inclusive vacation Mexico sweet spot. But this one was only 3, and we kind of just looked at it as a long weekend, especially from Houston. It's literally maybe a 2-hour flight, give or take, depending on the wind that day. So we were trying to kind of normalize that and be like, we could just take a quick trip to Mexico, like, more often, maybe. I don't know, especially now with more people to watch Frankie. Although, I don't know. I like bringing him too. But I digress. It was really nice to go. It was interesting to not have Frankie and not have that responsibility. We missed him a lot. I'm happy to be tan. I was in Legree the week when I got back, and I was wearing my, like, new red set. And I remember looking in the mirror and being like, "Oh, wow, like, this is so much better that I'm tan," because I don't know. I would be curious. This is open discussion of, like, obviously I'm not going to go in a tanning bed anymore because it's not, like, 2015 and that's not good for you. But also, spray tans are expensive, but I'm sure I could get a membership somewhere or, like, get an okay deal. But even, like, spray tan self tanning, I would self tan during the season, but I would also, like, just do my arms and, like, back and chest because I was always wearing tights. I don't know, that's kinda how I feel now. It's different. Obviously, I'm still adapting to, like, the Houston weather, but, like, I don't really it is, like, 75 today, but for the most part, most of the time during this time, like, I am at least wearing pants. My arms are out sometimes, but I'm like, I don't know, like, what's the point of doing so much work to put clothes on? But then it's nice when you work out and you look in the mirror and you're like, "Oh, I'm tan." I don't know. For me, I feel nice when I'm, like, tan and makes me feel better. So I don't know. Like, I would love to maybe get into the whole, like, spray tanning thing, but, like, let's also be real. I don't even want to go sit at a nail salon to get my nails done. Shout out Olive and June. Not sponsored at all, but if you're watching the video, these were my press-ons, a different version from Mexico. I put them on the day before and they're, like, still on. There are, like, a couple that are, like, kind of ready, but they don't even fully come off. And it says they last up to 7 days, which today would be the 6th or 7th day. So I'm like, really, really good. But I don't even want to go sit and get my nails done. So, like, the thought of tanning myself, maybe I could work that into my nighttime routine. That is kind of another one of my goals for 2026 is to actually get a night routine down. But maybe if I had a better night routine, I could, like, self tan at night. That might be a better solution than a spray tan, because having to like go somewhere and they really don't last as long anyways. And also, unless it's for like an event, like if I screw up my self tan a little bit, it's like not that deep. Yeah, maybe we'll start self tanning again. Thank you guys for letting me think that through in real time. But if you have a solution, please comment below or send me a DM, please, because I need some moral support on that. And it's just me here. But anyway, that was a nice trip. That was really, we went all over the place. So like lots happening, but also not like a lot happening. That sounds crazy, but I think it's because I think of sometimes like my life this time last year where it's so busy that I'm like, whoa, like what's going on right now? Like even this morning, Garrett wasn't feeling good and I couldn't get into my workout class. So I like forgot to set an alarm because normally he gets up at 4 and normally I set my alarm for class and I was like, oh, we'll get up, but he wasn't feeling good. So he slept, whatever. I digress. And I was like pretty tired, but I remember waking up and being like, whoa, I'm tired, but also like I don't have like a crazy day. This is so wild. Like I don't even know how I survived the past 3 Christmas seasons because I was just so tired. You're just kind of on autopilot. So it's been like an interesting, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like an interesting, I don't know. I digress. But with that being said, I wanted to talk to you about just like, I don't know, I've been doing a lot of reflecting and planning and goal setting for 26, but that also requires a lot of reflection on this past year and just like being honest with myself. But it's been busy, but also not busy. And thinking about what I was doing last year, the moments of like missing the rocket life, it's actually been in moments that I feel like are less obvious than what you would think. So like, for example, Thanksgiving, I think someone maybe asked me about like how I was feeling. Maybe I don't even remember because it was just like in the moment. But that being such a big holiday for at least like the cast I was in, because we'd do a parade and then you'd have 3 shows and it was just like a whole thing. And then Garrett would always come to the last show. But honestly, I like that was a day I didn't even think about it. Like I didn't even watch the parade, and not for any reason other than we were busy. I of course went back and watched the performance, which was amazing and lovely as expected. But like I didn't even have the parade on because we were doing stuff. And like I was so invested in being with my family and like in that gratitude moment that like that wasn't even a time that I thought about it. I feel like I find myself feeling that like missing it in random other moments, but also in that I've done what I have been able to do to like lessen those moments, not because I don't want to feel that. And I think you should feel those things. But for me, I can get like stuck on something or like let myself really sit in a feeling too long. Like, for example, like if you're listening to this and you're currently dancing in the company, like I probably have you muted on everything on Instagram. And it's not personal because I love everyone. But like for me, and I think I would be better now, but when the season was starting for sure, or maybe not, because I felt another shift happen once shows started, which I'll get to in a second. But even when rehearsals were starting, because it's so fun, like that first day of school, like I just was like, I don't want to see it because it's just going to make me sad, you know? And like, I also don't want to like not feel happy towards my friends even that are still there because it is so cool and they should be so happy and they should be posting about it all the time. But I just like muted everyone because it was just to like protect my peace. And it was less about like out of sight, out of mind, but I am a little bit that way. So like but it's like the less you're seeing it, the more, or like the less you're thinking about it. Like it would be like if you broke up with someone. Oh my God, that's crazy. I'm comparing it to that. But like if you broke up with someone or maybe not you, maybe they broke up with you, you're probably going to at the minimum, like mute them, maybe unfollow them because you just don't want to like see what's going on because you don't want to know like what you're like quote missing out on, even though you're not. But it just like for me, it helps me stay grounded. And I highly recommend that for like any human or person or organization that you're following, whatever it is. Like that was kind of my thought process when starting potentially Gabby, my new Instagram. Like I have, if you even know this, I'm sure a lot of you do, but like I have a personal one, like my Gabrob account. I put it on private and I like get anxiety thinking about opening that account. I think I've opened it maybe like 2 times in the past year. And I think I made like 1 post out of like, oh, I really should post whatever on it. Because when I first started, my social media journey, that was personal branding rather than just like personal fun, I guess. And I made my new account because back then I was very embarrassed, self-conscious, worried about other people's opinions, like far, far too much, even though I thought I wasn't, like I was. I didn't want people judging me. And I think especially with social media, it is so public, for lack of a better word. Like, I love being a beginner and I like trying things that I'm not good at first and like that process. But I think the difference with that is like everyone is seeing that process. So when you're first starting, if it's something you're not confident with or comfortable with, like it's harder. And I think it was maybe Allie, shout out always, like every episode, but Allie was like, why don't you just make a new account if it's going to bother you? And I was like, it was like a light bulb. And then but then I put it off a little longer because I like my ego was like, you're better than that. Like, you don't have to start a new account. Like, I need to just get over myself, blah, blah, blah. But like, honestly, if I had to do it again, I would do the same thing. Like, sure, I started out with like a smaller audience because I did it from literally zero. But when I did start it, I remember just being like, I'm going to be so, so intentional with the people that I follow on this account. Like, not even like people I know personally, like I don't maybe even follow them on it. And it's not because I don't love them or like them, but like I am strategic with like what I'm taking in because I don't want it to become a place that I'm getting any negativity or anything that's not like necessarily serving me. So like, I don't know. I don't want to offend anyone if I also sometimes I miss it if you follow me and like I know you in my real life and it's not personal, but like, or if I don't vibe with someone anymore or I don't like their content or whatever it is, like I like will unfollow. Again, the muting sometimes if it's a season, like for me, like all my like Rockhead girlies, like it's not that I don't love them and don't want to see what they're posting, but like right now I'm like, okay, like I need to just separate. But regardless, you can always like mute someone. And then if you're like, wait, I actually don't miss seeing their stuff, you can like unfollow them, you can keep them. I don't know. There's just all these options. But regardless, out of sight, out of mind, it definitely helps with like all things in that regard with social media. Just like, I don't know, that's your space, right? Like we spend a lot of time on the internet now and we underestimate how much that kind of information can affect our well-being or like affect our day. I even think about it. I'm actually pretty good at this, but I try to not look at social media like bare minimum at least 30 minutes from when I wake up. And I like genuinely can notice a difference on days that I don't do that. And the first thing I do is like open up my Instagram or open up my TikTok, whatever it is. Like I notice a shift versus like just even having those 30 minutes to like, even if it's just me sitting in bed or like sitting, drinking a coffee and doing nothing else, but just to like let your mind wake up and like fill it with your own thoughts. And like, it just, I don't know, helps me better set my intention for the rest of the day. Like, yeah, as we get on tangents, I might even, should I delete my other account? I don't know. Also, like, I loved the name Gabrob, which funny story. This is the one and only time I almost think I got hacked, which was my fault because I had been thinking about my name on Instagram after I got married. I was like, oh, like what could it be? And I was like, Gabrob, like really cute, right? So cute. Every version of Gabrob, Gabby Roberts, Gabby M. Roberts, like it's all taken because it's not that unique of a name, unfortunately. But like, I really wanted Gab Rob. I did so many different versions, but it's like Gab and then 3B's Rob. But then my new account, it was like underscore Gab M Rob, and it was like very similar. And I knew it was kind of just a placeholder that I would be something else, but I didn't know what. And there's a really good story behind potentially Gabby, which I will share at another time. But there's a very good story behind it, and I was like, ooh, that like kind of clicks. It's cute, it's catchy, and now I like just love it. And for so many different reasons, why I think it's a great whatever name for it. I'm like, dang, do I even delete? Like, I should just delete the Gab Rob, but also I don't know. It'll just stay. Who knows? Maybe one day it'll be like I post kid things on there and it's on private. Anyways, I digress. Moving on. We are so off topic. Another time that I like miss it, like moments that I miss it, is like anytime I see stage clips or pictures or like especially like behind the scenes pictures like of people on stage because I'm like, oh, like I miss that because that's the part that I loved the most, obviously, was like being on stage and like all of those moments where you're just like, you know, have your inside jokes with the stage crew and the dressers, or just like those little moments on stage, like with everyone else. Like, and even just all of the ins and outs that like you get to be a part of and know, like it's just so special. And so that I'm like, oh, like I miss that. I miss that. But I always would say, like, as I was trying to make the decision, like, yeah, I'd want to do like 20 more shows, but I don't want to do like 100 more shows in a month and a half, you know? But unfortunately, it's not an option to just do 10 shows. So like that, like sometimes stings. And I feel like in the moments that kind of sting like that, it's always like a sharp, like to the jugular a little bit, but it's gotten better, I think, with time. It hurts a little less or like stings a little less. I think it's a lot more prominent too in like moments of how I mentioned earlier, there are a lot more like stillness moments now. And like in those moments where I have so many things I want to do or I need to do, but I like don't even know where to start, which I could do another whole episode on of like the ADHD brain of like not when you're creating your own schedule and like how to stick to things. I'm still working on it. I'm a work in progress, but those moments sometimes as well, or this one's probably the worst for me. It's in the moments when people ask about it, like still to this day, because people don't realize like when the season starts, like they ask about like, oh, like, are you going back? Or like, oh, like, what are you doing now? Like, so when people ask like, oh, you're not going back, whatever, if they didn't know, whatever, I feel like some people, especially like dancers or anyone that has like a genuine like understanding of what the job entails and like the schedule and all of it, they're like, oh yeah, like I totally understand, like cool, like really nice about it. And then it's like some people, and it's usually people that are more acquaintances or like people like at work or like, and it's not their fault, but it's like you can just sense that they're like, oh, like that's so wild that you would give that up. And then it's like, what are you doing now? Where it like, then it puts that pressure of like, oh, like I need to be doing something just as cool now, which they're not saying that. I'm putting that on myself. But it like, I actually was listening to Jay, of course, on purpose, Jay Shetty, love you. I was listening to, it actually wasn't the Emma Watson episode, but it was an episode of where he was like talking about 8 different moments through the year that were standout moments, whatever. But I didn't get the whole obviously context of it because it was just a clip, but she was talking about like, I think she must have stepped away from acting in some degree or whatever that was for her, but she felt crazy that she wasn't happy, like because people on the outside would be like, you have everything. Like, what do you mean? Like, why are you not happy? But like it wasn't aligned with her. It wasn't fulfilling her in that way. And like that feeling, like that really resonated with me. But I'm sure like we can all relate to something in our life, whether you're even a dancer or not, of like if you have to shift and do something else, like, oh, why that's so weird. Like you didn't like that job. You didn't like it. There doesn't have to be something that's like so wrong with it to like leave. Like it doesn't have to be so black and white, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, yeah, I mean, I even have my moments on top of it when then people kind of try to like overcompensate then, whether like whenever it comes up in the conversation of like, oh my gosh, that's so cool, really hyping it up and like that's so amazing and whatever. And it's like, yeah, it is and was like, I'm so proud of myself for doing that and I loved it. But it's also like, again, this is just like probably a me thing. It's not a them thing, but then it turns into like, oh shoot, like did I make a mistake? Like why would I give this up? Like why did I stop doing that? Like especially when it's usually followed around like, oh, like what are you doing now? And like I have a lot of things. I obviously like this podcast was one, like a lot of things I want to do and I'm like slowly doing, but it's not like a thing yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I can be like, oh, well, now I'm going back to school to become a lawyer or like I am, I don't know, like going to be an interior designer. Like people will be like, oh, you'd be really good as an interior designer or like do a home organizing business. And I'm like, no, like respectfully, no, thank you. Like, do I love those things? Absolutely. But I think especially my first career being in dance, I think with that and also just like age and experience, like I have a better understanding of when something was meant to be a career and make you money and be a business versus like it's a hobby, right? It's something I enjoy. Like I enjoy organizing my space. I would not enjoy it if someone was paying me to do it and there was a set of expectations and I had all these criteria and I don't know their life and I don't know what they like. Like that to me is not like fulfilling, for lack of a better word. Like I enjoy it a lot. I always say to my friends and family, I'm like, if you want me to come help you, I'm there. That is why I'm so excited about my mom's house because there's nothing in it. And I'm like, I cannot wait to organize it for her. Like that's like low key gonna be her Christmas gift. Like, I bought her, like, a bunch of bins and all that kind of stuff, and I'm gonna be like, "Okay, I'm gonna come organize," but I'm like, "Is that for her or is that for me?" Like, it's a little bit for me because I'm so excited. But anyways, even interior design stuff, like, I enjoy that so much, but, like, yeah, like, I'd have to maybe go back to school for that, which that's not really the issue, but I don't know, like, it's just not something I can see myself doing full time. And when I decided to not go back to Rockettes, it was like a part of the reason it was so hard was because I didn't have a concrete, like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, I have so many different ideas that are like feeding into each other, that are growing and like doing different things like that. But like, people don't get it, especially, no offense if you're older listening, but older people of like, oh, like, I'm really working my personal branding and I want to start a podcast and I want to do XYZ. And they're like, okay, like what? Like, I mean, to be honest, I don't even really know how to monetize a podcast at this point, but like, I'm also just like, this is what feels right. And this is what I'm enjoying. And I'm enjoying helping people and I'm enjoying connecting with people and I'm enjoying like inspiring people. And I've just trusted that feeling. And I also recognize like I am in a very privileged position to not have to be like a sole income supporting myself type of situation. So like I do have a luxury in that sense of like I don't have like an X amount of money like I have to make right now just because of how we live and like Garrett's situation, which is great. But it does, and it gives me that like flexibility. But I think that there's a part of me, ego and just other people of me being afraid of them judging me or like, oh, like you're not working, you're not doing this. But it's like, well, I'm doing things. And like my mom being here, she was like, you are like working nonstop all day. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm doing so much stuff behind the scenes. Like it looks like I just post a little video or I just record a little podcast or whatever, but like, working with people behind the scenes, doing all those things. So I think in that regard, like that is also hard. That's going to be a goal for 26, you guys, like stay on topic. But those are my honest thoughts. That's how I've been feeling in my season of change, which was kind of the whole like point of this. But like, yeah, I don't know. But it's gotten easier. And I knew that this year would probably be the hardest because it's our first year not doing it. It's the 100th season's anniversary. So everything's just like bigger and like there's so many fun things happening. And I think in the last few months for me, what has been helpful, and like my close friends and family know this too, is like almost downplaying it, which sounds bad and like low key toxic, but in the sense of like I've had to downplay that accomplishment and downplay that experience so I could feel better, if that makes sense. So like I could be like, you know what, like that was cool, but like I'm doing cool things now. And like, so when people are like, oh my God, that's amazing and that's the coolest thing ever, it's like, it's not their fault. But like for me, that is when I get that little like sting of like, oh, like, did I make a mistake? Like, I can't believe I gave that up. But it's like, actually, it's okay. And if you listen to my episode about gratitude and like being able to reflect back, like I do really trust that this season of life that I'm in right now, like one day I'm going to look back and be like, oh, this is why. Like that little internal voice that was saying it's time to move on, like that was there for a reason. Now you have XYZ, this happened, this was built, like whatever it is. I'm just trusting in that. But I think to like wrap that up, like, yeah, I think shows, that one was hard. Oh, and the, like another one, I forgot about this, another one that I have written down for my notes so I can, like, I try to keep myself on track, but you know how it goes. But another one is when I see people, like friends, family, whoever, like go to the show and either like say they missed me or like not or whatever it is, like it makes me sad because I like want to share that with them. Even if they had seen me perform, like I'm like, oh, you don't get to see me this year. Or like, especially the people that did not get to see me perform in the past 3 years, like in person, I almost feel like guilt that they didn't get to experience that. And I didn't, because I wanted to like share it with them. Like I want to share it with them, like that amazing magical experience and like the joy that it brought me. Like half of the joy was knowing someone was in the audience and watching me, and like whether they just met me in the past couple of years or they had known me my whole life, like it was, oh my God, I'm like going to cry starting to talk about it. But I like that was so special for me. So that always hurts a little bit in that regard of like, oh man, like I wish. But that was honestly one of the reasons I wanted to go back this year, was for like, I have all my nieces that hadn't got to come see the show, and I wanted my godsons to get to come one more time, but I was just like, you know what? Like, I cannot dedicate 4 months of my life to something that is so demanding and like consuming for, a couple of shows for people to get to come watch. And I trust that most of them are kiddos, but one day, first of all, they probably won't even care, but if they did, one day they will be old enough to understand that it was more important for me to like take care of myself and do what was best for me than for them. And I'm like, you know what? When my nieces are a little bit older, we'll just take a trip. We'll take a girl trip to New York and I will take them to see them. And it's still going to be special and magical and all of the things. I'm sure I'm missing some, but those are the moments that like I feel it the most. I think it's in just like the small little moments of things that I'm going to miss. But I feel like on the flip side, it's been a lot almost easier than I thought it would be because I'm like just in this state of gratitude and excitement to like grow and do things. And that's been really cool. Like on the note of personal branding and social media, like that has been so fun. Like I had mentioned, because I'm a beginner and I'm not going to lie, there are moments where it's frustrating where I'm like, why is this not performing? Or like, why do people not like care about that? Whatever it is. But like, I thought it was cool. But like, it is so fun to like be a beginner. Like I had to learn how to film. I had to learn how to edit. I had to like learn how to read my analytics and make a hook, like all of those things on top of like the personal branding aspect of it, like getting clear on my why, my mission. And that for me too has been almost healing in a way of like my why and my mission and like what I want to do, like who I'm speaking to, who I want to help, like all of those things I think really are like therapeutic, honestly, and so fun to get to connect with people and like feel that it's all worth something. And that's another moment. Sometimes it stings a little bit because I think for a while was steering away from any like dance performing content because one, I was trying to downplay it for myself. And two, I think I was trying so hard to like not stay. I was trying so hard to get out of the box that I felt that I was in. And I like wanted so desperately to like explore the part of me that wasn't a dancer and like share that with the world. And almost like I was seeking validation for the part of me that wasn't a dancer. Like, oh, people can like me for something other than that, which now that more time has passed, I've like healed that a little bit to the point where I can now be like, I'm always going to have that with me. I'm always going to be a dancer. And like that, just because I'm not physically performing anymore, like I don't have to shy away from that part. Like it actually can help enhance the next chapter, the next phase, the next era, whatever it is. So I think leaning into that a little bit more has been fulfilling, and it feels like it's been reaching more people and helping more people. So that is really exciting. But there are some times where I like look at show footage and I'm like, oh, Garrett took that video and I'll never get to do my little heart in Soldiers when we have our soldier improv and I get to do a little heart at him when he's in the audience. Like I don't get to do that again anymore, but it's all good. It's all good. I knew it'd be the hardest year, but we're making it through. And yeah, that was like a lot of all over the place. Hopefully that kind of made sense and was kind of cohesive because that's kind of how it is. It just is ebbs and flows, but I am excited for 2026. I have a fun episode coming out right before the new year, and it's going to be great, you guys. I'm excited. I know there's a wide range of listeners right now, and going into the new year or just like in general moving forward, if there's anything specific that you want to talk about or want to hear about from my perspective or someone else, like please let me know. I have a little Google form link in the Instagram bio for the at Kicking It Real Pod. I have one there. You can always comment on the episodes, which I need to like put that on my to-do list because I tried to comment on Allie's podcast and I listened to it on Apple instead of Spotify, which I rarely do. And I'm like, I can't even figure out how to comment on this. But if you listen on Spotify or YouTube, you want to comment anything, like anything you want to see, if I get enough like dance like requests, like I would definitely do like a focused episode on like dance things if there's an interest. But as you know, if you've made it this far in the episode, it's like been an ebb and flow a little bit, but I just want to be a help in any way I can and connect with you guys and, we're all in it together. So thank you so much for kicking it real with me. Like, subscribe, comment if you can figure out how to do it. Happy holidays. I can't believe when this releases, it's going to be like almost Christmas. So I hope you have a safe and healthy holiday and have a good time with your family and friends, and love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me.